Maybe your heart is tired, not just tired from work or people or days that felt too long, but tired in a way you can't explain, a quiet exhaustion in your soul, the kind of heaviness that no one sees, but God does. And even when no one hears the prayer you whisper at night, heaven listens. He listens not to the strength of your words, but to the truth in them. When you pray with faith, real, raw, trembling faith, something begins to shift, not always outside, not right away, but deep inside where the invisible wounds live. You might not feel lightning or see a miracle in the moment, but the healing starts the moment you say, God, I still believe. That phrase, whispered in the dark, is more powerful than you know. Some healing begins without a sound. It starts with a sigh, with a tear, with the decision to pray one more time, even when everything in you wants to give up. That's where God meets you. Not when you're strong, but when you're honest. When your words come from the cracked places, not the polished ones. And here's the sacred mystery. When you pray with faith, God begins to heal you from head to toe. Not always in the way you expect, but in the way you need. He starts with the mind, calming the racing thoughts that keep you awake. Then he touches the heart, where grief has been living like an unwanted guest. He moves into the body, softening the muscles tensed by anxiety, loosening the weight from your chest. His healing isn't rushed, it's not loud, it's like oil, gentle, warm, invisible, but real. It moves through the cracks of your being, through the places no one else can reach. You won't always see it right away, but you will feel the peace begin to rise. Like water finding its way into dry earth, the Spirit begins to restore what pain tried to destroy. So don't stop praying. Don't believe the lie that nothing is happening. Every word you speak in faith is a seed planted in heaven's soil, and heaven never forgets what you sow in tears. God has begun a healing in you, and He will be faithful to complete it. Stay with me through this prayer. Let your soul breathe. Let the tears fall if they need to. Let your faith speak, even if your voice shakes. And if this touches something deep inside you, type God, I believe in the comments. You didn't come here by accident. This is the beginning of something sacred. There are aches in your body that medicine can't explain. A heaviness in your chest, a tightness in your neck, a quiet fatigue that clings to you like fog. You sleep, but you don't rest. You eat, but you're still empty. You smile, but something underneath is aching. What if I told you that your soul is speaking through your body, that the tension you carry is not just physical, it's spiritual? Our bodies were never designed to carry sorrow alone. And yet, how many times have you swallowed your grief just to survive another day? How many tears have you buried because the world had no time for them, but God sees them all? The tear no one saw, that was the most sacred one, and He's been keeping every drop. You don't need to hide your pain from Him. In fact, it's in your most vulnerable moments that His healing is the most powerful. Psalm 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. But healing doesn't start from the outside in. It begins with a whisper in the dark, a gentle reaching, a prayer spoken through trembling lips. What you're feeling in your body may be the echo of prayers you were too tired to pray. Your soul has been carrying battles no one knew about, and it's been crying for rest. That anxiety, that fear, that unexplained exhaustion could be your inner self saying, God, I can't do this anymore. And when you get to that place, not of giving up, but of surrender, that's where healing begins. Let me speak this truth into your life. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. God is not shocked by your struggle. He's drawn to it. He comes close to the weary, the wounded, the ones barely holding on. And when you pray with faith, even just a mustard seed, you open the door for Him to move. He begins in the secret places. He breathes peace over your thoughts, quiets the storm in your chest. He begins to untangle what fear has knotted. He brings rest to your nervous system, light to your weary mind, stillness to your spirit, and little by little, The healing flows like warm oil from head to toe. Don't rush this moment. Let your soul feel safe in God's presence. This is not just another prayer. This is a divine invitation to restoration. Let Him see the part of you you've been hiding. Let Him touch the wound that you've learned to live with. Because when faith meets honesty, heaven moves. And what once felt numb will start to feel again. What felt lost will begin to return. And what felt sick will begin to breathe. Faith doesn't always look like shouting or bold declarations. Sometimes it looks like a whisper in the middle of the night. God, are you still there? It looks like holding your breath when the tears come. It sounds like silence, but heaven hears it like a symphony. Many people think faith is about feeling strong, but real faith often appears when you feel your weakest. It's not the absence of fear. It's choosing to trust even while fear is still present. It's not the loud praise in church. It's the quiet, "Help me," whispered through clenched teeth. Faith isn't the absence of the storm. It's the courage to stay in the boat when the waves rise. Think about the woman in Scripture who touched the hem of Jesus' garment. She didn't make a scene. She didn't preach a word. She was broken, exhausted, invisible in the crowd. But her faith moved through the silence and reached Jesus, and healing flowed instantly, not because she performed, but because she believed. That's what happens when you pray with faith. You don't need the right words. You don't need to sound holy. You just need to be real. Because faith that touches God's heart is not theatrical, it's honest. And God responds not to noise, but to need. There are places in your heart that no one else knows. Wounds too old to explain, questions too heavy to speak. But when you sit in God's presence, even without words, something begins to shift. The silence between your thoughts becomes sacred ground. And in that quiet space, God begins to heal you from the inside out. You may feel like nothing is changing. You may think your prayers are hitting a wall, but even in silence, God is working. He's softening the hardened places. He's loosening the chains you forgot you were wearing. Sometimes, the most powerful healing begins when you stop trying to control it, when you stop trying to understand everything, and you simply say, "Lord, I give it to you, all of it, my pain, my fear, my fatigue." That's not giving up. That's surrender. And surrender is the soil where faith grows. Let this be your sacred moment. No pressure to say the perfect thing. Just breathe. Close your eyes if you want to. Let your spirit rest. Let your heart be open. The healing has already begun, not because you did everything right, but because you dared to believe. And sometimes that's all God needs. There are parts of you that no one has ever seen. Places within your soul that remain untouched. Even after years of relationships, conversations, prayers, you've smiled while breaking, encouraged others while feeling empty. You've walked through days that felt normal on the outside. But inside, something sacred was cracking. We learn to survive by hiding what hurts, to function while fractured, and over time we convince ourselves, maybe this is just who I am now. But God never stops seeing the real you, not the version you show the world, but the you who still aches for wholeness. You may have been carrying the same pain for years, a memory that haunts, a word that wounded, a silence that stung deeper than any scream. And maybe, over time, you stopped praying about it, because healing felt too far away. But God has not forgotten what you've buried. When you pray with faith, not just for healing, but for divine intimacy, something deeper begins to happen. God doesn't just remove the pain, He sits with you in it. He places His hand on the part you've hidden for so long. And He says, "I see you, I was there, and I'm still here." Healing in God's presence isn't just relief, it's recognition. You don't have to relive the pain to be set free from it. You just have to bring it into the light. And light is what prayer opens. It invites God into the forgotten corners of your story, the chapters you skipped over, the scenes that still bring tears. And once God steps in, nothing remains the same. His healing is personal, precise, gentle. He knows exactly where you're hurting, even if you don't have the words to explain it. He goes to the root, not just the symptom. He heals the memory, not just the reaction. And sometimes, in a single moment of surrendered prayer, decades of pain begin to loosen. So don't rush this. Let the silence become sacred. Let the tears flow without shame. You're not falling apart. You're being made whole, piece by piece, prayer by prayer, from the inside out. Peace is not just a feeling. It's a force, a presence, a divine breath that fills the spaces where fear once lived. And when that peace enters your soul, something miraculous begins to happen in your body. Your heartbeat slows, your muscles release, your breath deepens, not just physically but spiritually. Because fear contracts, but faith expands, anxiety chokes, but peace flows. When your soul is at war, your body carries the tension like armor. But when God steps in and his peace takes over, even your nervous system begins to calm. That's the hidden healing no one talks about, but it's real. Scripture says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." Isaiah 26:3. Did you notice? Peace comes not from trying harder, but from trusting deeper. Peace isn't a product of control, it's the fruit of surrender. And that's what Prayer with Faith creates, a sanctuary inside your very being, a place where trust breathes and peace is planted like a seed. If you've been feeling constantly on edge, restless at night, exhausted even after sleep, there's a good chance your soul has been starving for peace. Not just quiet, not just rest, but the kind of peace that surpasses understanding, the kind that wraps around you in the middle of chaos and says, "You're safe now, I've got you." God doesn't just want to heal your past or strengthen your future. He wants to calm your now, to breathe into this exact moment, to remind you that you're not holding the world together. He is. And when you realize that, the healing deepens. Let your body respond to his presence. Let the spirit of peace sink into your bones. Let the muscles unclench. Let the jaw soften. Let the breath slow. This is sacred rest. This is what happens when God begins to heal you from head to soul, to heart, to every cell that remembers pain. You don't have to understand how it works. Just let it happen. Breathe, trust, surrender. Let peace become your posture, and let your healing begin. Not with striving, but with stillness. Some wounds don't bleed, they echo. They come back as memories, as sudden reactions, as fears we can't explain. You might be fine for days, even weeks, and then without warning, something triggers the old ache. The past still knows how to knock on your door. But here's the truth. When you pray with faith, even your memories can be healed. Because God doesn't just heal moments, he heals meaning. He doesn't erase the past, but he rewrites the pain with his presence. And the place that once felt like a scar becomes a testimony. There are events you've never fully spoken about, moments that still carry weight, words you still hear in your head. And maybe you've wondered, will this ever stop hurting? But what if the healing isn't in forgetting, but in inviting God into the memory, letting him sit in the scene, letting his love reinterpret what once broke you? That's the power of divine healing. It goes where therapy, logic, and time cannot reach. It enters the deepest chambers of your heart, and it does not rush in. It knocks, it waits, it listens. And when you open the door through prayer, the healing begins without force, but with fire. A gentle, holy fire that purifies the pain. Not burning to destroy, but burning to refine, to make the old wounds new places of wisdom. to take the trauma and turn it into truth, to show you that what almost killed you didn't win. And this kind of healing, the healing of the memory, is sacred. It requires honesty, it requires surrender, but most of all, it requires faith. Faith that God can go into the past and speak to the child you were, and also to the adult who still carries that child's pain. So bring that memory to him now. You don't need to say much. Just open your hands, open your heart. Let it rise, let the tears fall. They are not a weakness, they are a washing. This is healing, this is holy ground. Some of the deepest wounds don't come from strangers. They come from those we trusted, those we loved, the parent who wasn't there, the friend who betrayed, the partner who abandoned, the words that came from someone who should have protected us. Love, when broken, cuts deeper than hate ever could. And maybe you've tried to forget. Maybe you've told yourself it's in the past. But the body remembers. The soul remembers. And when love was your source of pain, you begin to question everything, even your worth. That's why the healing you need isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. Because God is not like the ones who hurt you. He is gentle where they were harsh. He is present where they were absent. He listens when they silenced you. He restores where they broke. When you pray with faith about these wounds, the ones tied to faces, to names, to memories, you are inviting God to break the soul ties of pain and rebuild something sacred in their place. You're not just asking for comfort, you're asking for transformation. To no longer flinch at their name, to no longer cry at the memory, to be free. And freedom is holy. There is no shame in being hurt. There is no weakness in still feeling it. It only means you are human, that you loved, that you longed to be seen. And now, in the presence of the one who sees everything, you are safe enough to release it. God does not just heal the surface. He untangles the soul. He removes the invisible hooks of guilt, resentment, confusion. He speaks truth where lies once lived. And when you pray with faith, He doesn't just comfort the victim, He restores the whole person. You may never get the apology. You may never understand why they did what they did. But healing isn't dependent on them. It's between you and God. And the freedom He offers is not symbolic. It's real. It begins in your soul, and it changes everything. So now, let this moment be a turning point. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's releasing the poison. It's giving God the pain you can no longer carry. It's saying, Lord, I choose to heal, even if they never say sorry. That is the kind of prayer that heaven honors, and that is where your new story begins. There are pains in your body that no test can detect. A weight in your chest, a constant fatigue, tightness in your throat when emotions rise, a feeling of being worn down not just by life, but by something deeper. You've wondered, why does my body feel like it's breaking even when nothing is wrong? But what if something is wrong, not in your organs, but in your spirit? What if your body has been shouting what your soul has been whispering for years? You weren't created to carry trauma. You weren't designed to live in survival mode forever. And yet, so many of us walk through life with invisible wounds that manifest in physical ways. And here is the holy truth. When you pray with faith, your body hears it too, because your soul and body are not separate. They're one creation, knit together by God's breath. When peace enters your spirit, healing begins to ripple through your whole being. Your cells remember the stress, but they also respond to grace. Scripture says in Proverbs 4:22, God's words are life to those who find them and health to one's whole body. Not just inspiration, not just comfort, health. Because His presence doesn't just touch your heart, it flows through your veins. His peace isn't just a feeling, it's a restoration. And when you believe, your body begins to breathe differently. It's not magic, it's alignment. Faith aligns your soul with God's truth, and that truth begins to realign your body with peace. tension releases, hormones balance, the nervous system calms. Doctors might not always have the words, but heaven has always had the answer. And sometimes the first step of healing is not a pill, it's a prayer. So place your hand where it hurts. Whisper, God, I believe you can touch this. Let your faith rise, not in fear, but in trust. You don't need to see the miracle to know it's begun. You just need to believe that healing is already moving from the inside out. And as you rest in His presence, something begins to shift. The pain may not vanish instantly, but the burden around it begins to lift. You feel lighter, clearer, less afraid. Your body, after years of holding tension, begins to exhale. This is the quiet miracle, the one that starts with faith and ends with freedom. There comes a moment in every healing journey where the question shifts from will God heal me to can I trust Him again? Because sometimes the deeper wound isn't the pain itself. It's the fear of hoping, the fear of trusting again and being disappointed. That's the scar left by long seasons of silence. You prayed, you waited, you believed, and maybe nothing happened, or worse, things got worse. You began to protect your heart, even from God, not out of rebellion, but out of weariness, because disappointment can feel like betrayal, even when it's not. But here is the sacred turning point. God is not asking for blind trust. He's inviting you into a relationship built on presence, not performance. He doesn't want you to fake it. He wants your real heart, even the scared parts, even the broken pieces. Scripture says in Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." He doesn't ask you to be whole before He comes close. He comes close because you're broken. That's the God who heals, not from a distance, but from within. And the trust He builds in you is not fragile. It's rooted, watered by grace, anchored in truth. When you begin to trust again, even just a little, the heart starts to feel safe. You stop holding your breath. You start allowing yourself to dream again, to feel again, to believe that maybe, just maybe, healing wasn't denied, it was delayed. Because God wasn't just fixing you, He was forming you. Your story isn't over. What felt like the end was just the beginning. And trust is the bridge between the pain of the past and the peace of the future. Let your heart take one small step forward today. Whisper, God, I want to trust you again. Teach me how. No pressure, no rush, just a quiet return to the place where your soul is seen, to the arms that never left, to the God who heals gently, patiently, completely. This is the moment when striving stops. When you no longer chase answers, you choose presence. And in that sacred stillness, something shifts. You realize healing isn't just an event, it's a presence, a holy atmosphere that surrounds you when you stop trying to fix everything and start resting in God. You've walked through layers of pain, of questions, of waiting, and now you're here, not by chance, but by divine guidance. Because even when you didn't feel it, God was leading you. Even when you thought nothing was happening, He was preparing the deeper healing you couldn't see yet. Prayer with faith is not a magic formula. It's a relationship, a daily return to the one who sees you whole, even when you feel broken. And when you rest in Him, your body begins to soften, your thoughts slow, your spirit breathes. Healing becomes your new rhythm, not forced but flowing. Maybe you've been trying to be strong for too long. Maybe you've carried your family, your pain, your responsibilities without a break. But here, in this holy silence, God whispers, you don't have to carry it alone anymore. And those words are healing in themselves. Let this final moment be your surrender. Not a giving up, a giving in, into the hands that created you, into the peace that surpasses understanding, into the healing that moves slower than you'd like, but deeper than you imagined. Let your soul say, I trust you, God, even now. And as you breathe, feel it. The weight lifting, the fear loosening, the peace settling. Not because everything is fixed, but because God is here. He is your healer, your rest, your safe place. And tonight, yes, even now, He is healing you from head to toe. If this prayer touched your heart, leave a comment below saying, "God, I trust you," and share it with someone who needs to breathe again. Stay close to this space. Path of the Sacred is your home for healing.